Hi, this is Bill Leverty of Firehouse, and you're watching Brutally Delicious.
Hey, welcome to Brutally Delicious. I'm Bruce Moore. Today we've got another great show in store for you. This time, we're joined by Audie Desbrow, drummer for the hard rock act Great White. Stay tuned. We'll see what Audie has cooked up for us today. Brutally Delicious!
Hi, I'm Audie Desbrow and I play drums for Great White. Welcome to another edition of Brutally Delicious. And today I'm going to make you some refried beans. But first we're going to cook some up. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. What we're going to do first is get this nice big pot, like this, nice sized pot. And what you want to do is, for every pound of beans that you cook, you want to add 10 cups of water. So I have here 2 pounds. We're going to pop that in there. These beans have been washed and rinsed out. If you're getting those whole from the bin at the market, you want to make sure when you get home that you rinse them out with water real good and get all the dirt off, because they do grow up there. And we're going to add some water here. Now I got to grab some more. So after we got all the water in there, what we want to do, what I do, is I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of salt to this mix. Like that. And then I'm going to take 3 garlic cloves. Just take the skin off once. Add it to the pot. Like so. Okay, now what we're going to do, this is ready to go. We're going to take it, put it on the stove, we're going to bring the water to a boil, and once it gets to the boil, we're going to simmer it for 3 hours. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to go to the stove. We're going to get to the frying portion of our episode, and right now, I had fried up some bacon earlier, so I have some bacon grease here. And this is one of the decadent ways to make the beans. It's probably not the most healthiest way. You can use canola oil or vegetable oil if you'd like to be healthier. But if you use the bacon grease, it gives it a really great flavor, and that's what I'm going for today. So I'm going to pour a little bit of this grease in there. Hopefully the pan's not too hot, and I'm going to spread it myself. Okay. Just enough, so much so you could cover the pan. Grease like that. And you want the pan to be kind of semi-hot because you're going to actually fry these. So we'll take the beans here that we cooled overnight in the fridge, and you take a scoop out and you want to strain the juice out of it, so you get a spoon that has the slits in it so it comes out. What you want to do is get the beans in there, and you want to cover a layer over the pan of the beans, something like that. Okay? Now let those fry up like that for a minute. What we're doing, the reason why I put just enough beans to hit the bottom of the pan is I want that bacon grease to soak into those beans. So we want to get it kind of hot, kind of semi-hot on the flame. And you want to fry these up to where the grease actually soaks into those beans that you have in the pan. So. Now you can see here that we've let it cook enough, we've fried them up enough to where the grease is soaked into the beans. So you can tell that there's no juice in there at all. Now that we got that happening, what you want to do now is add however many beans you want to add. So I'm just going to add a few scoops in here. I mean, I can make the whole tub, but I'll just make half for now, because I don't know how long this show is, so. You want to add salt to taste, because even though I added that salt to the earlier batch, that's mainly in the bean juice, so these will taste very flat if you don't add any salt to them. So you want to add salt to taste. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit right now, but you can periodically taste it, and you can over salt, which you know is way too much. So just put a little at first. So anyways, we mix that in there, and we take this little potato masher, I call it the bean masher. What we want to do is we're going to mash the beans up. You don't have to mash them completely. I mean, there could be a couple of whole, pieces of bean in there. It doesn't have to be completely mashed. And what's going to happen, as you can see, they're kind of getting dry. So what you want to do is you want to give it a little bit of the juice from the beans. You want to pour that in there like that. Now, what most people do at Mexican restaurants and in the fast food Mexican restaurants when you do burritos is they put the cheese in on top of the beans, after the beans are in the tortilla. But the difference that I do is I add my own cheese in the beans, before I assemble it. So this is just the basics to the burrito. You can add chicken, you can add steak, you can add pork, you can add a chile relleno, you can add rice. This is just a basic part of the burrito. But that's one of my favorites, the bean and cheese. You can ask anybody that I know, what's Audie's favorite food? It's bean and cheese burritos all day long. Okay, so that's all good for that. So we want to get the cheese. I like to use Monterey Jack cheese. You can also use the Mexican 4 cheese pack. I like to put a lot of cheese. It gets it nice and cheesy. Okay, so basically, we stir that in like that. Okay, so basically that's the refried beans right there. And we'll be right back to assemble the burrito, and we'll show you what it looks like. Now that we've got our beans all done, here they are. They look lovely. We'll get a nice tortilla here, like Burrito Science flour tortilla, which I just heated up. And we're going to stick in some beans here, like so. Get that out of the way. And since I already have the cheese in there, I'm just going to sprinkle just a little bit more. But you can never have too much cheese in there. And what we'll do is we'll roll this puppy up, and we'll add some ingredients at the top. Roll it up nicely like that. And then we could put some toppings on it. We could throw some salsa on the top. You can add some sour cream. We'll just throw that on the side here. Actually, we'll throw it on the top. Okay. Like that. And then I made some guacamole earlier. We'll just throw some of that on there. And then we'll throw a couple serrano peppers. Like that. And there you have it. Burritos, Audie Desbrow style. Enjoy.
I got something for you, baby.
Your last record, Elation, came out back in 2012. I was wondering if you're working on any new material, and if so, when can we expect it?
Yes, there is, most definitely. Mark and Michael are actually working on some ideas. Everybody's throwing together some ideas. We have a little bit of downtime right now, so we're probably going to get together soon and jam each other's ideas out and see if we can make some songs out of it and get it ready to record, because that's what we're actually planning on doing, is making a record sometime this year.
Great White plays quite a bit of shows, touring all around the country and even the world. I was wondering, how do you keep up with the physical demands?
They're a lot more physical in the fact that we're flying on the weekends. We don't take a tour bus anymore. So it's a lot more vigorous, a lot of flying, a lot of driving, a lot of waiting. And basically, it's really hard to do any physical exercising and keeping in shape when you're on the road, because you have, you don't have a place to eat that's really great for you. So there's a lot of fast food and a lot of no sleep. Basically, all I can do on the show dates is I do warm-ups with my drumsticks and do rudiments and stuff like that, maybe some push-ups and some stretches and stuff like that. And when I'm home, I do a treadmill every day and some light stuff on a nautical machine. Nautilus, not nautical. Nautilus, yes.
You guys have quite a vast catalog of music. Do you find it difficult narrowing down a set list to play night after night? And along those same lines, do you ever get tired of playing some of your bigger hits like Once Bitten, Twice Shy, or even Rock Me?
Well, yeah, we do have a vast catalog, so in that hour and a half that we do play, we have to play the hits that were on the radio, on MTV and stuff like that, the songs that people want to hear. So that being said, there's only an hour and a half. It was probably like 13, 14 songs maybe per show. So, we got to play, the bulk of them has to be stuff that people know are hits, and we try to put in new stuff. We try to mix it up now and then, because we do have, like I said, a vast catalog, and people are always asking, how come you didn't play this song? How come you didn't play that song? So yeah, I mean, and it does, we do get jaded. I do personally, at playing the same songs all the time, but like songs like Once Bitten, Twice Shy, Rock Me, they're great songs. I mean, I can't complain. I mean, they're the songs that brought me in my house. So if you look at it in those terms, you never really get tired of it. But, from a playing aspect, you do kind of get jaded. So every once in a while, I'll try to mix it up a little bit, like try to add a couple of different fills, and every now and then, not so out of the realm of the song, but just so it keeps me interested, But yeah, it does get, you kind of get jaded at times, but when the people are out there and they're going crazy for that song, you forget all about that,
Ever imagine you'd still be playing music at this juncture in your life? Was there ever a backup plan? Or was this sort of an all-in kind of thing?
Well, pretty much, yeah. There was never a backup plan for me. Everybody goes, you got to have something to fall back on. You need to, get an education, and that could be true for a lot of people. But in my eyes, the way I saw it is, if you get something to fall back on, you're already doubting yourself halfway that you're not going to make it. So I took a big chance by just all or nothing, like you said. This is all I want to do. This is the only thing I want to do. So I got to make sure it happens. And after about 10 years, I'm still struggling to try to be a professional status. And I see all my friends getting married and settling down, buying houses. Some of them are retired already, back then. And so it was interesting, because I just always had the thought that as long as if I have a goal to do, I don't want to have anything to make me doubt that I'm not going to get there. So basically, like I said, it was all or nothing. As well, an education is great to have. Don't get me wrong. But for me, that's not how I wanted to approach this whole thing. But lucky for me, I actually ended up being professional and recording and touring, and it worked out for me. So I was very lucky.
Excellent. Was there a definitive moment where a light bulb went off where you said, I want to be a musician for the rest of my life?
That would be when I was 8 or 9 years old. That could also answer another question down the line. I was in San Pedro at this place called Portico, with the port where the ocean is and stuff, and the boats are. And there was like this little touristy strip down there, and there was this band playing out in front of this restaurant or whatever. And I saw this drummer playing drums. It was this sparkle blue metal flake drum kit. And as soon as I saw this guy, my eyes just lit up, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like that guy. I'm thinking at that term, I want to be that guy who's playing in front of this restaurant, on the street. But just seeing him and the drums and the sound and everything, it just overwhelmed me. I knew that's what I wanted to do. Also for the fact that my mom was a drummer in high school when she was younger, in the 30s. Which was very unusual, and I think I kind of got a little bit of gift from her being able to play the drums as well. And yeah, so I mean, basically that would be, the moment for me when I knew that's what I wanted to do.
What would fans be surprised to find on your iPod?
Well, let's see. I don't have any porn on there, so sorry to disappoint you guys. Actually, I like all kinds of music, from one extreme to the other. Actually, classical music. I'm sort of accepting the country thing. I mean, it reminds me a lot of 80s rock, but I like all styles of music. I would say probably I have some Neil Diamond on there. I also have Godsmack and Disturbed on there too. So I mean, there's a total huge array. Probably some Genesis. Phil Collins is I really love that band, Genesis, especially when they had Peter Gabriel as the lead vocalist. Basically, probably those two bands would be the most out of the ordinary. Maybe King Crimson. Bill Bruford was a really great drummer that was in early Yes albums. He was in that band for a while, and I really like that band as well. And those bands are totally opposite than Great White, so that'd probably be the most interesting things I could say that are different than what people would expect me to have on there.
If you were stranded on a deserted island, could take only 3 records for the rest of eternity. Assuming you had a solar-powered CD player, what would they be?
Wow, this is going to be a really tough one because, you know, like with movies, I used to buy tons of movies, and you know, there's only a handful you would watch over and over, so I'm trying to figure the 3 CDs of music that if I could only have those 3 on an island would be. I would say Abbey Road from the Beatles. I love a lot more Beatles albums than that, but that one is probably my most favorite. And probably AC/DC, Back in Black. And God, what would the other one be? I don't remember what it was that what I was thinking of earlier. God, it's hard to say. I wouldn't even get one of my own records, I don't think. I mean, you know, since I play it so much, that'd be probably like the last one I'd want to have with me forever. Gosh, it's really hard to say. So Beatles, AC/DC, gosh.
Maybe, I think it was Led Zeppelin.
Oh, Led Zeppelin album, perfect, that's what it was. Houses of the Holy. That would be the 3 that I would take with me. Of course, there's tons more I'd love to, but if it was those 3, I could probably listen to those over and over.
Nice.
What's your favorite childhood musical memory?
That was to a prior question. Musical memories when I saw that drummer in Portugal in San Pedro. That was like my first thing I could think of. I mean, another childhood memory was probably when my parents bought me a snare drum to play. Actually, they bought me a pad and some sticks, and I had lessons for that for a while, and then they started renting me a snare drum once a week from a music store to play on. So I would just play that snare drum along to like songs on the radio or albums and stuff like that. And another memory would be that when I was 12 years old, my parents bought me a drum set. First drum set I ever owned. It was from Sears. You know, a 4-piece kit, little Japanese kit, but I had that for many years and learned a lot of my musical talents from on that drum kit, playing different records.
What do you want written on your tombstone?
That's something I never really thought of, but I'll try to come up with something quick here. Here lies an animal lover who loved music and loved people, and here he rests.
What's next for you guys?
Wow. Well, what's next right now is to continue on playing with Great White. Like I said, we're going to come up with a new record soon. We'll be in recording mode. We have dates lined up already. We have a date coming up March 15th in Sioux City, Iowa. And then it starts to pick up in April. And of course, through summer is our busiest time of the year. So we'll be doing 2 to 3 shows every weekend for the next 3 months. And so we'll be doing that. We're doing the record. I'm actually going to be opening with my bass player a School of Rock. Not School of Rock franchise, but an organization like that. I will be teaching kids how to play instruments to get them prepped doing actually playing a live show in a band and prep them to become a professional someday, hopefully.